that Kim Kardashian, Cristiano Ronaldo kind of level.
Yeah.
Like I've had a lot of these YouTubers here. I've had the Mayweathers, the John Cena's, the Khabibs, but it's a different kind of thing. And I think where you've been banned makes you more of this.
They've martyred me,
Yeah, they've martyred you.
Yeah.
You know, like Prince back in the day, the singer. You never saw him in interviews. You didn't see them. So it's like, oh, there's Prince. You know, nowadays social media, like this whole influencer. I hate the word influencer, but they're everywhere. You know, they're everywhere. Are they really celebs?
Yeah.
I think it's a little.
You know what I mean?
It's a little bit different as well with Mayweather. You might support him, but he's not really doing anything for you, bar entertaining. Cristiano Ronaldo, he may put a ball in the net for you. But with some of your stuff about the Matrix, I use the term a lot now. And as soon as I use a subtle one of your terms, people come at me for it. But I escaped the Matrix by accident. When I became a personal trainer, I actually just wanted to do a job I enjoyed, and I made my own business. And I was like, what, I can expense stuff?
Yeah.
You mean I have a tax-efficient business? I'm going to work in shorts, and suddenly all my friends that are doing pay-as-you-earn are getting really screwed over. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to go to a fitness event in, somewhere foreign. I'll go Portugal. I can write that off against my tax bill. And I was like, why did no one tell me this, and why is no one telling anyone else? So when people hear your content and understand, they go, hold on a second, I'm being fooled into supporting the economy and it doesn't work out for me.
Yep.
That emotional connection that they get from that is insane, and it's more of an emotional one than anything else, which is why the fans are so crazy. And I think the kids, it can be TikTok, but I think also they need more direction. Older generations probably got more friends, more peers, more colleagues that they can talk and communicate with. So yeah, when I see the videos and how young everyone is in the crowd, there's obviously a need here for a role model. Otherwise, they wouldn't be doing what they're doing.
You know, when you got banned, would you have, if you knew that was coming, would you have slowed down earlier, with the stuff you were saying?
So firstly, I knew it was coming. Secondly, there's been a few people online who said that I should have tapered down with what I was saying, but I had already tapered down 2 or 3 months prior to the banning because I knew it was coming. But the internet's forever, right?
And also, my word for you is the social media drug dealer, where you're just expanding too fast and then just they trap down on you.
Yeah, it's influence. The problem is I truly believe it doesn't matter what I would have said or what I would have changed. I think that when you get to a level of influence where your soul is not bought and you're not completely owned, however it's done, usually most people who are famous are owned financially. They have a sponsorship deal, they have a record label, they have a sports team, they have whatever. When you're at a point where you're truly completely independent and nobody can, if they text you and say this, and you say get fucked, and you have massive influence over the youth, which is the number one, especially the masculine youth. I have a lot of fans between all ages, right? But let's say 15 to 25. That number one demographic is the demographic that the people in charge of the world are most afraid about. They're the ones who start revolutions. They're the ones you need to die in wars. They're the backbone of the slave economy. They're the people you need to go out there and work their ass off and pay their taxes and have a sexless marriage and die. If I'm starting to convince, that's what they want. If I'm convincing large amounts of these people to think for themselves and ignore the slave mind programming and tell the government to basically get fucked, and I want to think for myself and be a sovereign individual, I'm a threat to the system. And they sit there and they say, okay, this person's a threat. What's the advantage of allowing him to have a voice? Fucking zero. So I knew they were going to come for me because of the amount of influence I'd amassed. It's not about what I said. It's nothing that, if anyone who believes it's about what I said is juvenile. It's because I had huge influence. And people underestimate how important influence is. The war in Ukraine and Russia right now is what? People are dying. Machines of war are out in a field somewhere, blowing people to smithereens. So that one country can get influence over land. So to say, this area uses this currency and you read our newspaper, we have influence. Influence is the bottom line of everything. It always has been. That's what wars are fought for. It's what the media machine exists for. It's why the YouTube algorithms are rigged. It's why elections are fucking... I don't want to get killed. It's why elections are very fair. It's all influence. So when you're massively influential, they're scared of you. And they sit there and go, okay, he's influential and he's telling people not to sign up to the propaganda. Fuck it.
So why don't you run for president or something?
Because then I'll die.
Then he'll be shot. He'll be
Then
like
they'll kill
JFK, yeah.
Get Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. You hang yourself.
Bro, it's a real concern for me. People think I'm crazy, and the reason I talk about this on every podcast is in case it happens. So there can be TikTok clips of me saying that I would never kill myself. Because I'm telling you, you get 3 stages in life. First, they shut you up, and if that fails, then it's false jail charges or it's death. I'm telling you.
Well, don't release a Machiavelli album and do a 2-pack.
So if you believe that, why would you keep going?
Because I have a duty to myself and God, my friend. Then I have to sell my soul, and I'm hoping I inspire other people to do the same and understand that when you shut up, when you be quiet and you ignore objective reality and you ignore one side of the argument, this is how they purport their lies. This is what The Matrix is. The movie The Matrix is people being used for their body heat and their mind is living inside of a false reality to keep them occupied. What is the difference now? We're all out here working jobs, being used for our body heat, living inside a version of reality which is objectively false. Objectively, they will tell you there's things happening that aren't happening. They'll tell you to be afraid of things you shouldn't be afraid of. They'll tell you a fucking giraffe is a horse. They'll tell you all this garbage, and you have to ignore your own eyes and absorb it and accept it. It's all, the whole world's fake. Everything's fake. And I don't think many people actually understand how fake it is. Every single thing from the World Health Organization to the federal system to the legal system to the judicial system is fake. It's all a scam.
I actually saw a tweet or someone shared it apologizing about a vaccine or something like that.
I went crazy. Like, so I was sat at home and I saw the relatively old news piece that was saying the vaccine was never tested to reduce transmission. And I saw this as an opportunity a year and a half ago to make a very viral video where I was saying, come on guys, you're banging coke up your nose that probably came into the country up someone's ass, and now you're moaning about a vaccine. And I was like, there's a good angle here, and people are like, ho, ho, ho. And he's praising the vaccine, and I was like, virtue, cheers guys. But then when I came round, I was like, fuck, a lot of people that I ripped into I owe an apology to.
Yeah, they lied to you.
Yeah.
They lied. This is what I'm saying. The pandemic, or I don't even like calling it that because it's a lie, but the whatever you want to call it, that is a perfect example of how they can completely purport a false version of reality. Anyone who talks against it gets deleted. Everyone who talks for it gets amplified. And they make you afraid of something that you never saw with your own eyes. I ask people this all the time. Did you objectively see? Did you see people falling down the street? Did you see long lines outside of hospitals? Did you see ambulances running left, right, and center? Did you see what they told you was happening? The answer is fucking no. They told you it was happening enough times for you to believe it. That's all that happened. It's a fucking scam. It's the Matrix, bro. It's a lie. It's a fucking scam. If they would have never put it on the news and you lived your life as normal, you wouldn't have noticed the fucking thing. Yeah. Think what they did to people over 3 years.
So let's say that you continue to grow, and you start to pull minds out of the Matrix. Is there a point that if we get too many people out of the Matrix that there could be a collapse? Because ultimately, the way things are going, it's a broken system. But if we bring everyone out of that broken system,
then it's right. Yeah.
So there's almost an element of you getting people that are loyal to you, taking them out, and the others that hate you, you just kind of leave them in.
That's exactly it. The whole world, you can't unplug everybody because then society would collapse, right? Yeah. But I do like to think if there's a contingent of free minds, it prevents tyranny. I think that if not enough people stand up, I do think it's genuinely a battle of good versus evil. I think it's as simple as that, Tam. I think if someone's not standing there saying this is wrong, then evil wins. Think how many things they're already purporting on our children in the Western world.
For sure.
Imagine if no one stands up, and very few people do. Imagine if no one was. Imagine how fast it would accelerate. This is genuinely a battle of good versus evil. Dubai is insulated. Eastern Europe's semi-insulated. Certain parts of the world are. But if you go to America and send your kid to school and read the shit that they're going through on a daily basis, it's fucking evil. Someone has to stand up and fight this stuff.
No, I've got kids, and for me, this hits home because I'm a Muslim. I have my beliefs and values, what I think, but I will never push it as a Muslim. It's not allowed. It's not like maybe I don't agree, but whatever someone chooses to be or their sexual orientation or whatever, it's not my problem. I feel like anything pushing an agenda on innocent, people who can't even decide, who are not mature. What does the word mature mean? Going through puberty, also mentally being mature.
Yep.
It doesn't mean your balls could drop at like 10. I saw kids in my school with beards, like little Pakistani kids, and I'm next to them and they have big beards, you know what I'm saying? In the school, and my moustache was then I was growing out, I looked like a fat Hitler, but my point is that still doesn't mean you're mature enough to make a decision. Like nowadays, my kid can swipe up on my phone when a message comes and watch YouTube. I had a runny nose at 10 looking like that, jumping off, trees. We were a different generation, but still to push that agenda, choose your own sex, like take away from the parents. I feel like he said, in the West, if I were to discipline my kid or say something wrong, they could literally take my children away from me and I have no say. It's not the word own, but my kids don't belong to me.
They don't, you're right.
In the West, they don't. I've seen it. They bring you these books and again, it's not about that, what you believe and what you're not, but you can't push in it the same way. I will never let Muslims push an agenda. Everyone be Muslim or everyone be a vegan. Everything's the same. It should be the same. Kids, whatever they want to do. My kids, I've never told them to buy a Barbie doll or a gun or play football. They just naturally themselves liked, here's some nail polish and I'm sitting there putting stuff on me.
Yeah.
Just let them flow.
Yeah.
I tried to get them to wrestle and go hit pads. I was like, no, I said, come on, kickboxing, but they didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
So it's something, a natural inclination, in my opinion, was in there from genetic makeup, in my opinion, that people tend to do what they do, But pushing that agenda is scary, and hence why I chose to live in Dubai and raise my kids, especially here, because I don't want to have these books where, just confusing them at an early age or where you can choose your pronoun. And it's no disrespect to anyone, but I think as a kid, they don't even know what they want to be. They don't even know what day of the week it is. Yeah. They think they're Wonder Woman meets Frozen, Elsa. They don't know. And yet you're putting this on them and saying, no, you must choose. And then giving the parents like, come and see us, we're going to get the social services to say this and that. It's like communism in a way. It's communism.
Yeah, the kids aren't yours in the West, and they don't want them to be yours. I don't think people understand how this extrapolates out to all society. The reason they want everybody broke, the reason they inflate the currency, the reason it takes two people now, the father and the mother, to be working your asses off is because that means the kids belong to the school. They go to school all day and they get programmed, and then they watch the internet all day and they get programmed again. They're not your children, and Tam's right. You should be able to have children with the idea of raising them how you see fit, however that is. We can't tell other people how to raise their kids, but no one should be telling us how to raise ours. And you nailed it. In the West, social services, XYZ, if you want to discipline your child or tell them something ain't real, they tell the teacher, you lose your kid. You don't own your kid. You don't own your house because they'll take that from you if you don't wear your mask. It's all bullshit. Like most people don't realize on every level how corrupted society is. It's truly scary, and that's why I stand up and say these things. And if they kill me, it was nice meeting you, gentlemen. But
you know, in the UK now, if you take your kid out of school, you get fined. So if you want to take him on holiday during term, you have to pay money. You're like, hold on, I'm giving you one less kid to educate. That's a spare seat in the class.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's bonkers.
But you don't think there should be some rules? Like, just wondering.
There should absolutely be some rules, but you need checks and balances and everything, which is why you need somebody to talk. You always need someone to talk against the rules, even if the rules are completely right.
Yeah.
The second you have nobody talking against any kind of agenda, it becomes tyrannical, no matter what it is, no matter how well-intentioned it is. I actually believe a lot of the things that exist now to keep society in order were started with good intentions. I don't believe that Facebook or social media was started with the intention of controlling populations, but it just ends up there. That's how it ends up when they become powerful. So yeah, you certainly need rules, but now we're in a situation where certain people can make rules and other people can't talk against them. And that only leads one place. That can't lead anywhere good.
Yeah, but you see, rules are evolving.
Yeah.
For example, who knows what's next? Legally marrying animals, or legally, like, your kid can... I don't know. It's just changed. Is it like in the 60s, there was a certain way. That even when I was young, like in the 80s, I remember, there was discipline. Like, you chatted shit, an old guy outside a pub will just punch you. Yeah. Nothing will happen. Yeah. Or another... I would go around my friend's house, say we kicked the football, hit the window. His dad could really give me a bollocking. It was just the norm. My parents would be like, that's okay, I understand. Or teachers used to... What was it? The cane.
Yeah.
I'm not saying hit, but there was discipline. Now teachers can't even tell a kid off. I'll tell the teachers, listen, that's their job. Teach them discipline. I don't mind that. Now kids like, no, then the parents come, threaten the teachers. Yeah, bro, it's like, it's havoc.
Me, I'm kind of half and half in my head about it. Like, sometimes I say anyone should be able to say anything, post anything. Especially like even when you got banned, I was like, well, should someone really get banned? Just don't watch their content if you don't like it. But sometimes I'm kind of like, think twice about it, because I'm like, you know how nowadays you have the they, them, or like you said, an animal can marry a person. But if you keep letting that stuff get posted, then other people are like, oh, you know, people that are attention deprived. If I go do that, look, someone's getting attention for marrying a dog. Let me go marry a horse. Yeah. So you might be promoting that. So what do you think about that? You know what I mean? Because I'm kind of too sensed in that. Like,
I think, look, freedom of speech, there's no such thing. There is no freedom of speech anywhere. There's no such thing. Yeah. Because then they'll say, then it's hate. If they don't like it, it's hate speech. Like, I saw one of your comments regarding white privilege or BLM, what got blown up. And I understood what you were saying. I was on your side. Like, I got in a lot of trouble because people see me as an ethnic or a brown. I can say things that you can't. And I understood that. They were like, white privilege. This term white privilege I hate. You know, it didn't make sense. And you made a comment. I'm not sure what it was.
I definitely messed
and
this
you got
one
a lot of stick.
I messed this one up a bit.
You got a lot of stick for it. But I know your intention behind it. But maybe it's delivery.
I'd been working hard. It was tired. In the morning I was having coffee. And someone said, it's okay for you. You're a white, straight, cisgender male. And I was like, it just boiled up inside. And I said, maybe I just fucking outworked you for 10 years. Maybe it was that. Yeah. And then everything was like, you're dismissing white privilege, you're doing this. And I was like, guys, do you know what? My mum and dad are still together. I lived at home till I was like 26, which was great because I was PTing 13 hours a day. And my mum would leave food in the morning for me to eat. They supported me. These are genuine things that I was really privileged with. And I was like, please don't overlook 10 years of hard work and just say that I'm a straight white male, because that really hit an emotion deep down that I was like, we cannot tarnish young people's minds with the idea that, you know, oh, it wasn't work, it was this. Same when people are in shape or world champion kickboxers. People like to connect the dots what suits their narrative, and they overlook the main lesson they need to get out of life.
I think being privileged is a negative anyways.
No, that's just the term. I think, listen, I've got very clear, and I understand. My races were colonized. This history is history, but everyone was responsible for certain things. Muslims did things, the Mongols, Romans, everyone had their part in history. Yeah. But it's like going to a German and abusing them for the atrocities in World War II. You couldn't. Yeah. Well, some German kid who's like listening to TikTok, listen to like Biggie Smalls, got to do with Hitler, or white privilege. Like, I was raised in a white community. Even when the local term was used as pecky shop in those days, yeah? Being an Asian, it wasn't even racist, it's just uneducated, it's the society you're in, you know what I'm saying? So people take things out of context and like, you're probably the old school kind of like that kind of cloth, but it gets blown up. You have to be so careful, especially you're on that fitness spotlight, what you do. Whatever you say now, especially I told him, I said, you're so big now, you don't realize it. The most biggest danger you've got is like what you even say, how you move, where you are. You come in a restaurant, women, any action you do, people got phones out. It's scary. Yeah. They can edit anything now.
It is scary, but the white privilege attack, I'll get in trouble here. But I agree with you. I think it's clown world. I think to look at somebody who's white who's successful and say it's only because they're white is stupid. I think it's asinine. It's pathetic, and it's trying to remove any self accountability and self responsibility. The people who were saying that to you were not extremely successful black people or extremely successful brown people. I've never known a very successul brown man who goes to another successful white man and says.
I want to add to that. It would have been white people saying that to you.
100%. 100%.
I'm not racist. My wife's white, you know. My kids are mixed. We're mixed. I'm all for mixed. I don't see race.
I'm mixed.
The abuse usually you get is from your own community. I've noticed that Muslims target me or Asians, Iranians or Arabs. It would have been the white community trying to relate, jumping on the bandwagon. That's what's so annoying about the whole thing.
Tall poppy syndrome, where they say that if you had like a field of poppies, if one sticks out above the rest, it doesn't look nice, chop it down. Yeah. So it's that, and it's really prominent in a lot of cultures around the world. And like you say, you get attacked by your own people. Well, I've got a question for you with the size of your YouTube following and YouTube taking people's channels. Like, that's gut-wrenching for so many creators. Do you feel that there's a lot of pressure on you to conform?
Not really. To be honest, I always say, like, even if they shut me down, like, I always say, like, if you have a successful mindset, I could do it again.
I like that.
So I say if you're someone that, like, if you claim to be a businessman, entrepreneur, a good YouTuber, even if they delete anything, you should be confident to do it again. You know, like
But why should they delete?
They shouldn't. I mean, I hope they don't, but I can't control it. Like, you should say they shouldn't have banned me. They shouldn't have stopped my payments, but they did. Yeah. But you can do it again, I'm sure.
That's true, yeah. But I think
it sucks though.
It sucks. I know what you're saying, but I think it goes beyond that when it gets to really critical issues like, let's say, the vaccine or raising children, etc. When they start deleting one side of the argument, it's different than deleting an entertainer, right? When you're deleting genuine information, it goes from beyond inconvenience into actually shaping the narrative of the world.
But what do you do about that?
Yeah, well, that's the question. What you do is what we're trying to do now is make people think and understand that these people are trying very hard to control a narrative. I don't blame them. Like, we're all business owners, right? If you had somebody who worked for your company who defied your logic and didn't want to listen to you and didn't agree with the way you did things, you'd fire them. Yeah. So if you have members of your population when you control a country who don't agree with how you act and what you want them to shut up and go away. Like, this is just natural human nature. But the point is that will end in tyranny. The reason the crap went on so long is because the people who were talking against it, like myself, I can tell you now, I lost 5-6 Twitter accounts. My Instagram was shadow banned. My YouTube had 3 videos taken down because all for saying, "Hi guys, I'm in Sweden. It's open." Like, it's fine. Like, yeah, because, bro, day one, me and my brother sat there and said, listen, let's be logical about this. If this kills us two military-age males, as strong as humans can be, then society's over. Civilization's done. So there's no point hiding from it. So we went to Sweden because it was open. Went to the club. And we were in Sweden for 2 months. Everyone's locked in their houses, clapping for the NHS, hiding at home. Sweden was no one talks about this. Wide open, no restrictions, no masks, no closures, nothing. Completely full nightclubs in Stockholm. Full, head to toe. Nobody talks about Sweden. I don't know why. I was living there for months, watching people hide in their homes. I was like, guys, and every time I put up on the Instagram, they deleted it. They're deleting that. They're not saying I'm hateful, because they couldn't, right? I'm just showing my life. It's not about deleting entertainer. It's about literally changing the perception of reality so they can enslave humans. It's beyond just the inconvenience of I was an entertainer, I lost my channel. It's we want to enslave people. We want to trick people into getting a vaccine they don't need. We want to convince people to stay home and miss their fucking grandmother's funeral. So we're going to delete one side of the argument. It's genuinely evil. It's not a small thing. It's big. Do you think it's criminal? No. Imagine you missed your grandparents' fucking thing. Imagine you took the vaccine and you had a side effect. Imagine someone you love took it, because a whole bunch of people have now. Imagine your business went bankrupt. You can't feed your family. Imagine your girl leaves you because you lost your business. And then you're going, oh, it's over now. No big deal. We just deleted everyone's YouTube to lie to you for 3 years, and now you worked it out. Oops. Anyway, Ukraine. It's a fucking scam. Like, and nobody seems to give a shit. It's a miracle that nobody cares. I'm like, no one's mad about this? Is it just me? I didn't even fall for it, and I'm mad. It's just crazy. It's like, I don't know why no one's standing up saying, what the fuck do you lie to us for? It's criminal, and that's how it's all about the distraction mechanisms of the Matrix, right?
But who's they? Who's the Matrix? Who's they?
Oh man, you're gonna get me killed. You tell me who you think they are.
I don't know, because look, I'm saying if it's the government, why would they just not stop you?
It's not government.
So it's not the government.
There's people above governments, my friend. Maybe not in Dubai so much.
So like kind of like Illuminati type like concept.
What do you think, James?
I see this when I see a well-written Joe Biden tweet. I'm like, who's got his phone? Who's got his phone? Because that can't be him.
Yeah,
I've seen him an hour ago doing
yeah.
something. So someone must be doing that. I look over there, and again, I don't know Joe Biden. I've not met him in real life, but I assume and make a stand that maybe there's someone puppeteering him. And again, Rogan talks about this a lot, where 4 years in a job, just about enough time to get competent. I mean, 4 years in jiu-jitsu, you're probably just about to get your purple belt. You are not even halfway through your martial arts career. Oh, at that time, time to swap out the most important role in the free world and put someone else in it. It's absolutely bonkers. So someone must be behind the scenes with some form of tenure and some
100%.
form of experience. And do you know what? People would probably feel more relaxed if they knew that. Hey, this is the candidate who's going to win the election, and he's going to be the front man for everything that goes on. By the way, there's a load of experts behind the scenes actually running the country. Oh, thank God for that. But
I think they wouldn't because then these people are worried about coups, and they worry about being taken over and worried about the backlash, you know, the free will. They kind of take away your free will in a way.
Why would they want us to have free will?
Yeah, of course.
That's the thing. You have to think about it as being as competitive as possible, right? All the countries, or at least now the world's split into two hemispheres, they're competing against each other. You have to try and be as competitive as possible. Free will is great because it allows people to be entrepreneurs and think for themselves and come up with ideas and be creative, etc. Free will is what got America to where it is. But now we're reaching the age of AI, we're reaching the age of brutal competence, and you're sitting there going, all this free will has all the kids wanting to be YouTubers. They don't want to do anything important. They just want to sit there and be YouTubers. Did you see that study where they asked a bunch of kids in China what they wanted to grow up to be? And most of them said engineer or astronaut, and they asked all the kids in America, and they all said YouTuber vlogger. No. You can't. How can you win in the long term when the Chinese children want to grow up to know shit and the kids in the West want to fuck about with a camera?
No offense to
No.
But it's true. But it's true.
You're making more money than me.
give him a little.
But I'm not saying there shouldn't be YouTubers. I'm saying that, like you said, the system doesn't work if everyone's a fucking YouTuber. So it's not competitive anymore. So they're sitting there going, get rid of the free will.
He's in the fitness industry. Everyone's a fucking PT or a fitness influencer now. That's why some of your shit I see, I love it. It's funny because when you first came on the scene, they called you the Gordon Ramsay or whatever, but you were like saying things I was thinking. Like PTs who've just done a bit of a course, look good, giving motivational speeches, you know, with that music, guys, I wake up, you know? And when you came, it was kind of refreshing because I was like, exactly what I'm thinking. What is this kind of cult? It's a cult, no?
Do you know what's crazy, right? This is my one bugbear. Why are people so fucking happy to train? They're like, hey guys, today we stop it. That's fake.
Yeah.
Because even today, someone's like, you're going to do a podcast with some fucking legends. And I'm there, I'm like, that's sick. That is the height of human emotions when you're really buzzing, right? Yeah. You earn like a incredible amount of money. You're like, oh, fucking sick, fist bump your brother. Yeah. That's the height. So when I saw these people online, I was like, this is evidently fake. I don't trust them. If there was someone that came to the pub, hey mate, really good to meet you, I'd be like, give me my fucking hand back and stop being so happy. Yeah. So the first time I kind of got in the fitness industry, I was like, these guys are all fake. I'm just going to be myself and try and be like, hey, we probably want to do this for the right reasons. We want to enjoy it. Have a gin and tonic at the weekend. Don't be too much. And I kind of saw a gap in the market of just being normal.
You know what annoys? You know what makes me laugh about fitness influencers? You see these like 19-year-old chicks with perfect bodies, etc., and they're like there, and this is what I eat, and I have lemon with my chicken, all this crap, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, listen, I know a 19-year-old girl right now who just smokes and drinks gin, and she's in great shape. You're 19. Of course you're in good shape. You're 19.
That's what I'm saying. He did one about Diet Coke the other day. Made me laugh. It was true. And
19-year-old girls are in good shape. That's just like
they are.
Show me a fitness influencer who's old. Cool.
Half the time they're filters, bro. Like I get these people. Can I come to your gym? I'm verified. They send it to the gym account. Blue tick. I'll collab with you, right? They're doing me a favor. We'll collab. We'll come. Just let us for free and we'll do a few tags. So at first I was like, my assistant, you know, it's just free marketing, you know. If they've got this following, then I realised what fake following was. They'd come and I'm expecting them. Literally, they could walk past me. I wouldn't know it's them.
Yep.
It's like looking at me, then seeing DiCaprio on TV. It's not the same, you know. You could say Shrek, but not DiCaprio. And I was seeing these chicks like, what? I was like this. And it's so bad because you've got these young girls like this, God forbid what happens to that girl, but social media pressure of trying to be this perfect, you know, as my best shape ever was on juice. It was purely on steroids. You cannot attain that. I can see a guy now, and you can. I can say Winstrol, Stanazol, Tren. I can tell you what he's on.
This week I said to someone, I go, so is steroids haram? And someone was like, no, it's okay. It's halal. You're okay, Tate. I was like, okay, cool. That makes sense. Walking around the gym, I was like, and if you're transparent about it, great. And I think that's the best thing. But when you lie about it, because like you say, everyone needs to take it upon themselves to run a profitable business, because then you can't be bought.
Yeah.
Because even this week, W were like, hey, 4 nights for free, but you got to post every day. I was like, I'd rather pay.
Yeah,
I would rather
yeah,
pay
yeah,
than do it. I don't want to own you guys.
Yeah.
But when people have got BCAA, Gymshark, and Gymshark are paying their mortgage 5 times over.
Yeah.
So of course they're not going to, oh yeah, it's the supplements I'm taking. You're disillusioning people. And again, you go to the 5. Everyone's out there in a Lambo. It's not yours. Stop trying to sell me your fitness program in a rented car.
Yeah.
I swear, I love the owners of 5, really good guys, but that 5 palm is like Jahannam. That means hell in Arabic. That is the land of shaitan. 5, you've got roadmen coming, saving their money on there, you know. Everyone's got their pictures. Like, I'm not going to lie, I've got a few man bags, yeah? Because I dress like this.
Yeah.
I need a man bag for my phones and keys. Like, James similar to me, like, around Andrew, I feel like a fucking peasant. He wears these coats. We went to see Sean O'Malley. It was like fucking, he killed a chinchilla on the way. He had his fur coat, this, that. And I was like, TK shirt, I've like 50 dirhams, but I sell it for 150. I put my name on it. I was like, I'm a knob. What am I wearing, yeah? It's just me. Like, that's me. I like the flip-flops. I wear flip-flops, my legs are skinny, so I put the high boots, you know? And I'm like, these people on a 5, and it's just this kind of society. Everyone has to post something they're not and fake. I respect the guy who says, look, I've got a small penis and a fat belly and I've got nothing in my account. You'll never see it happen, though.
I'm right here, I can hear you.
No, but you know what I mean? And it's, especially that fitness industry, that is one of the cause which has ruined this kind of, that's branch of Kim Kardashian's. Everyone's got this booty. Everyone's got these apps where they tone up. And like he said, he calls a lot of these out. Like this Dr. Berg he called out. I was actually watching him like an idiot. I was like, this Dr. Berg said this. I thought, what's he saying about cut this out and that? And he put a few videos and just destroying him, and I was like, it's just common sense regarding calorie deficit and all this, and you know,
lemon water in the morning. I'm like, if you want the nutrients from a lemon, fucking eat one. You know, like just squeezing it. No one's. Imagine how stupid you'd look if you squeezed a bit of pineapple over some water, or you took a tiny little slither of an orange and put it in. Oh, I'm just going to eat a tiny slither. People go, you're a fucking idiot, but they put it in their water. They're like, oh my god, this is amazing for digestion. You're like, just stop it.
Yeah, that's true.
And I own a gym, bro. I see it all the time. It's just a pet hate. I see guys. 1 minute they're getting sessions off someone, the next minute they're all MMA fighters.
Of course.
They all fight UFC. I do UFC in Dubai and Arab. In Arabs, it's funny. It's like, well, I do UFC. You know UFC, you know? I see it all. And I love Filipinos. Like, if without the Filipino race, my gym would be dead.
Yeah.
My assistant, she runs it. It's just my branding. But that fitness industry is so bad and dangerous for people.
I think it's
fake.
certainly destroyed what people think a fit, healthy person looks like. Because I've been accused of being on gear all the time, and I'll sit here and say right now, adamantly, so if I get caught wrong, they can make fun of me. I've never taken anything in my life.
I accused him, I swear, when he left. I said,
I've never taken anything in my life ever. I will do any test you can name. I've never taken anything ever. And the reason I won't take it is because I know I'm going to want it. So I'm not going to take it. So I've got this far without it. I know that I'm getting old now. I'm 36 soon. Maybe when I'm 50, I might need TRT or something, but I've never taken anything ever. And people say I'm in fairly good shape, whatever. But compared to some of the fucking dudes you see around here, I'm tiny. And I'll never be able to get that big. They're monsters. That's just the game, right? So, and it's warped what people expect from, let's say, a fitness brand. If you launch a fitness brand, you need to look like a monster now. So it's almost like bodybuilding. You have to do it. It's almost like the bodybuilders. They have to do it.
The problem is it's rewarding. Like, they know, like, okay, if I go on these whatever steroids, I can look good quick, sell my course, and people will buy it. I think society rewards the shortcut. And that's the problem. In
certain industries, yeah. But I don't know. You guys can correct me. I still don't think it's that easy. I still think you have to train your ass off, don't you?
Yeah, the issue as well that I find is, so for when I was younger, I got caught in the loop. I went on gear. I beat people to it. They were, weren't you big then? Relax. So, when I went on, it felt amazing. And what I was trying to do is improve my status as a man. And it's the only way I knew how was to be more muscular.
Yeah.
And now I'm a little bit older, a little bit wiser. I like to say to young people, I'm like, relax, mate. You know, start your own business, become self-employed. Find a nice girl, treat her really well, take her on a nice holiday to Dubai, fly a business class, and guess what? You're going to feel more of a man than you did on 250 milligrams twice a week in your left butt cheek. Yeah. And then say to someone like, be a good family member, get your parents a nice car, something like that. Yeah. If you want to feel like a man, there are so many ways that don't involve injecting testosterone, and it took me a long time to realize that. And what we're ultimately trying to do as men is feel like men.
Yep.
Feel like we're playing a part in society where, 20, 30 years, or if you do get Epstein, you could leave a legacy where you looked after the people around you.
Yep.
If a massive swole dude in here has a heart attack today, and that was his whole life and his identity, like, what really happened or influenced people's lives around you apart from the amount of volume you put in your delts and chest?
But that comes into the topic of masculinity now.
Uh-oh.
It does.
Let's get warmed up.
Yeah. Honestly, they are trying to eliminate, they call it toxic. What's toxic? they're trying to kill off what we see as masculine man. Now, the thing is, what I say, what is wrong with a masculine man?
Well, I can tell you why they think there's something wrong with the masculine man, but that's because we're the gatekeepers of morality. Men are always going to be the ones that lead revolutions. When you're in charge of a country or you're in charge of a populace, whatever it is, it's like the olden days. You walk into the new town and kill all the young men or the military age males, slit all the boys' throats because they're going to be a problem in 5 years. That's what it is. So let's imagine, let me make up a fake scenario. Let me just invent something. Let's imagine you want to lock everyone in their houses because of the common cold. Let's imagine you're completely tyrannical and you're a psycho. What you'd want to do is make sure that men comply. It's only the men who can stop the compliance. There's only enough men in one place saying fuck you. It's not women. If all the women get in a place, it's annoying. But if all the men get in a place, it's a revolution. It's different. Call me misogynist, but it's true. It's large groups of men that are always going to be the backbone and fighting force and the number one thing they're afraid of. By reducing masculinity as a whole, you're reducing the warriors of society. They don't want people to stand up and say, no, we stand for these values and we will not let you corrupt our children this way. So they have to try and attack masculinity at its core, get you to the point where you're like, well, maybe it's good if I'm tolerant, and they poison everybody. That's what they want.
Hollywood as well, you made a good point online that now even the kind of lead male roles in films are being stripped away of their masculinity.
The Arnies and Stallones. Why we all started training? When we used to box or we used to train, which movie would you always watch?
Oh, bro,
Rocky.
yeah, 100%.
It was Rocky.
100%.
Everyone came out to Eye of the Tiger. We'd be an amateur boxing show. You'd have 15 kids in little pants. 70 kilos. Like, it was the thing. You wanted to be Rocky. I bought those Argos York weights.
Yeah.
Made
of sand, full of sand. Plastic.
That's why I have big arms, nothing else. Never squat, like just arm curling and laying on the floor and benching. Yeah. That was it. It was Argos is like
I know, I brought the books I had.
Carrefour,
yeah.
And it was the thing. Our generation was that. It was either football, you want to be like Gaza, or you want to be like Frank Bruno in those days of the boxer. But Rocky, Mike Tyson, Stallone, Arnie, this was our generation. Now, like you said, it's Peter Parker, his kids, good actors, but I mean, they're changing it without you realizing, if you know what I'm saying. They're like, put it into your heads.
No Dolph Lundgren, no Arnie.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
Yeah, they're trying to deliberately convince you that physical strength doesn't matter because along with... I personally believe, I spoke about this earlier, I think that it's actually one of the most crazy things about the modern world is that people think that your mental strength and your mental resilience has absolutely no bearing on your physical strength and physical resilience. It's like your mind is inside of your body. And people talk about mental health, and they want to keep mental health completely segmented from your physical health and also from your lifestyle. Like, they're linked. When someone comes along and goes, what about mental health? I say, okay, right, we can talk about mental health, but you're fat as fuck. So let's start here. No, but you can't ignore that. Or
I took that personally, bro.
So, no, I was about to tell right.
I was like this.
Or they'll come to me and say, I'm depressed. It's like, okay, but we want to talk about mental health. That's fine. But your life is shit. You are objectively a loser. Like, you can take pills to pretend you're not a loser or try and forget the fact or be happy with the fact you're a loser. But if you're going to live that lifestyle, let me tell you something, my friend. If I was you, I'd be depressed. So you can't ignore these things.
I think it's a two-way sword as well, where some people are in a bad bit of health, so it makes them depressed. Some people are depressed, so it puts them in a bad bit of health. Yeah. So there's that. But either way, it doesn't excuse the fact that action is the remedy. And what you say there about mental health and physique as well, for martial arts, like, people don't understand when I say Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu helped my mental health. I know what you have to say about BJJ. And do you know what?
I won't get started.
And I'm not gonna try and pull guard against you here, but still, like. It's true. You actually need to line up the body with the mind. You need a distraction. And also, I believe all human beings are problem solvers, and we need to constantly be thinking and challenging and developing areas of our life. A lot of people out there that, let's say, are obese or struggling with mental health, bar their job and their relationship, often, imagine this, right? I say to people, calorie deficit, eat less. But if you don't enjoy your job and you're in a meaningless relationship, I'm not surprised you spend the other 5 hours of your day eating calorie-dense foods. Yeah. And if we can't address and get into people's minds to say, you need to be in a serving relationship or be single, which is probably going to benefit that everyone knows how shredded you get after a breakup. But also, the work component is massive. So many people have been bred to kind of just go to work, clock in, clock out. Happiness is a currency we don't even talk about anymore. So, if we're not going to say, do a job you enjoy, or we're going to use money as a standard metric of success, then we're almost breeding people. And no one's coming along, as you say, to actually say to them, sort your life out, find something you enjoy. It's absolutely bonkers that it's perfectly acceptable. You couldn't even say that. Let's say you're sat on a plane. I've been on a plane before, and the lady next to me couldn't get her tray down, so she had to use mine. And I thought there at that moment, the only person less comfortable than me is her having to ask me that. And I felt like saying, like, hey, I'm a PT, can I help? I didn't want to be condescending, I didn't want to offend her, I didn't want anything to kick off on a plane. And I was like, wow, I'm in a position now in my life where I can't even say to someone, hey, do you want some help? Do you want some advice? Because then you're fat phobic.
But this is the thing. We talked about this started with an attack on masculinity. I think the reason there's such a large men's mental health crisis is because of the attack on masculinity. When you tell people with an innate desire to be masculine, whether it's God-given, whatever, like you said, they have innate desires. We're all born with innate desires. God has told us some things are just wrong and some things are just right. And you have an innate desire to act a certain way, and then society is telling you that if you act that way or if you have those desires in any way, you are a bad person. That's where the men's mental health comes from. That's where all these